Welcome to another episode with Espresso Podcast. Today we have a new guest, Robin.
Robin, whatever you like.
So his background runs around fitness mainly, let's say, and a little bit of minimalistic living. You've been in the UAE for about 10 years?
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost a decade.
Was it one of those plans where like, I'll just pop by a couple of years?
I think, yeah.
Most of the expats.
And then it ends up being a decade. You're like, whoa.
Yeah, I think most of the people around me have been the same story. So every time you're like, so what was your plan? It's like, oh, it's just pop by and then like move on. And it's been a decade. So today, I would like to discuss something that I've been noticing when I've been traveling to like less fancy countries, let's say, such as Zanzibar, which we'll be going to soon in about 9 days, which is basically, I named it this way. I don't know if it like gets named under something else, which I called cultural and social numbness.
Well,
Basically, living in Dubai leads to you having a cultural and social numbness.
yeah.
And I noticed that when I was traveling to, for example, Zanzibar. And this also goes into another topic that I mentioned that I'm going to have another guest for, which is being used to customer service, which is like 7 stars, like 7 out of 5, we're talking. And then the second you step out of the country and you go to another country where like your meal could take an hour to get ready, you start losing your mind.
Yeah. Island life, where they're much more laid back than here.
So that's something I want to discuss with you, because I kind of linked it with your type of way and like the way you live.
So you're saying I'm a pauper?
You don't get affected as much by the surroundings. I feel like a lot of people who live in Dubai do get affected by, this person went to this brunch place, which is new and just open. We should book next week and like go. This person bought a brand new car. It's like this. And like, okay, maybe I need to change my car now, but your car is completely fine and you don't need to do anything. I've had this in my head for a while now. Like I've noticed it so many times with people, and it's becoming something that's subconscious to people.
Always looking for the next big thing.
Yeah, and the other thing on the other end of the topic is the main title, the numbness part, where it's like we live in the country that has the tallest building. We live in the country that has the highest level of luxury. We live in the country that supercars are very normal. Like I hear 10 cars revving by my house, like on a daily basis at night, and it's just meh.
Yeah, you're immune to it now.
Yeah, like you go anywhere, even if you go to Europe and you see like a supercar on the gravel, and you're like, why are you doing this? You know, I see them every day, but people like, you lose that wow feeling. So that's why we have you here today on the podcast, to express your
simplistic living
and how it's been for the past 10 years for you to live here.
Yeah.
Did you always have that simple living life idea, or did it develop out of something?
I would say it probably developed out of something. I first came to Dubai. Actually, interestingly enough, I had never visited Dubai before I moved here. So that was a little bit of a risk I took. I had friends that had moved here and they were like, it's a great place.
In the same field?
In the same field, in health and fitness. And they said, it's a great place. You can come out, you can work, the weather's good, except for the summer. And
Where you run back home.
sorry?
Where you run back, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it seemed like I to be honest, I'd been looking to maybe emigrate somewhere. I had itchy feet. I wanted to shake up my life a little.
Let's go back a step to where your like roots extend, like where you.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm half Scottish, half Dutch. Mum's Scottish, dad's Dutch. Born in Holland, moved to Scotland when I was around 1.5. So you don't hear any Dutch in the accent, just Scottish. Maybe you need to put subtitles even for me. So grew
It's
up,
okay.
yeah.
It's a bit dimmed down.
It's a little bit dimmed down. It's become more international since moving to Dubai.
No Scotsman can get rid of their.
No, they can't. No, especially if you get drunk or angry. So yeah, moved. No, I stayed in Scotland for most of my life up till around 26. I was the manager of quite a large gym chain. It was a gym chain called Pure Gym in Aberdeen, which is the northeast of Scotland. And I felt like this would be a good job to have if you were like 45 and had a family, because I had such a routine at that point, like Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. I really felt like I needed to shake things up a little bit. So I had some friends that had moved to Dubai about a year or 2 years earlier. So I reached out to them. They said it's a great place to live. You know, there's lots of opportunities. So put out the CV and ended up getting a job initially. Came across, big shock to the system, like totally different. I hadn't even been on holiday before. So everything was like the buildings, going down Sheikh Zayed Road, you know. And interestingly enough,
Concrete jungle.
I swear, yeah. And interestingly enough, what I found very kind of strange was going down Sheikh Zayed Road and in amongst all these skyscrapers, and then on the first night being dropped off in an accommodation in Al Quds. And I was like, oh, is
That's
this
the expectations were here, and they're just like,
boom, straight to the bottom, yeah. And then we got moved again eventually, but it was just so different to being in Scotland, where everything's green, it's village life, you know, you know everybody in the town, you know, so it's
a lot of sunshine,
a lot of rain, yeah, a lot of bad weather, but it was just a stark contrast in comparison to kind of what you might call, I would call it normal life. I would call maybe Dubai the
what was
Disneyland
normal
for
to you,
adults.
basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was it the first thing that you did when you moved here?
So I first moved here. I won't mention the name of the company, but I came here to become a gym manager of a large scale gym company. You probably know which one. And at first I said, guys, I want to go on the gym floor. Let me do like 3 months of personal training so I can understand how the gyms work, how the personal training,
how the vast population.
Exactly. I wanted to understand the culture.
Fitness, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And just see like what's it like being on the gym floor? Like how is it to be a personal trainer? It's good to be able to understand that if you want to lead them. I sat down in the first meeting on the first day and I was like, I've made a mistake. So basically, and I'm not blaming the managers, but in the meeting, the only thing they talked about was money. Yeah. How many packages have been sold? How many conductions have you done? You've not conducted enough.
Numbers.
So you've not conducted enough sessions. Get your clients to come in more every week. And obviously they want to just hit their own bonuses. They want to hit their own targets. But for me, coming from when I was managing the gym in Aberdeen, obviously we had to stick to our numbers. But at the same time, we were thinking, what's the customer experience like? You know, are the clients of our trainers
on the quality?
Yeah, are our clients losing body fat? Are they gaining muscle tissue? Who's the member of the month? You know, and so it was a real wake up call for me. And
it's more who's the number one
selling and conductions. Yeah.
Number one PT.
Exactly. Yeah, and some of them would do like 12 sessions a day, and I was like, you cannot give each individual client their own session and their own lifestyle protocols when you're doing 12 sessions a day. I think they were literally running the same session from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Give the same program for everybody.
Exactly. So that was the first. Yeah, I actually left after 6 weeks.
Oh, damn.
They didn't even process my visa fully. I remember I woke up one morning and I missed the alarm, and we were doing some special course to learn more about the brand and become a better brand ambassador. And it was like the third day of this course. And I just, because I'd woken up late and I was a bit sleepy, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I tried. I don't like quitting. So I gave the regional manager a call who hired me, and I said, I'm not coming in today, and I'm not coming in anymore. So that was that. That was how I first got there. Yeah.
And then moving forward, you just went into, I think, PT more.
Yeah. So cut a very long story short, I left. I started coaching my own clients. I actually, not many people probably know this because it was such a long time ago. I did a natural bodybuilding competition.
I've seen the pictures.
You've seen the pictures? Yeah. And because my friend suggested it to me, it's not really my scene, but he was like, you know what, if you do this, you get great pictures and you win some medals, it's going to bring you clients. Credibility, clients, and you'll be in the pipeline straight away. Yeah. So I said, fair enough. So I worked really hard over those like 3 months to get myself in shape. Picked up a couple of wins in this competition, shaved the legs, and you know how hard that must be for me. And too many, yeah. And then managed to pick up some clients, and I was kind of what maybe expats would call doing the visa run for a little while. So just heading across to Oman and coming back. Yeah. And then I was doing a lot of networking at the time.
And I think by now, mentioning the networking, by now, I think you're pretty connected with the whole fitness scene in Dubai.
Nowadays, yeah, I'm an old timer. Yeah, I'm past it now. Yeah, but I go to networking meetings, and then I found out, oh, you can actually start your own business here, which I didn't know that before. I thought as an expat, you just work for companies. So me and 4 other guys, we opened a trade license together, but we still operated our own coaching. Literally, we'd meet up once a year, we'd pay our percentage of the trade license, and then go our separate ways again, do our own
Visa,
coaching.
basically, I think you did that, or was it just
for the trade license and visa? So you would pay for the trade license, and then you do a one-off payment for the visa initially. This is for anyone looking to.
I'm pretty sure nowadays everybody's aware of Dubai. It's like this.
Yeah. They make it easy.
Overnight, you'll have your business.
Have your business set up.
Post-COVID, like where everybody, because Dubai recovered way faster.
Of course, yeah. They were very smart, actually, opening up that quickly.
Yeah.
And then, we started doing the freelance coaching, and from there, it's been helping people get fit and healthy and live a fulfilled life as much as possible in Dubai.
So how did you get to the minimalistic part of living?
So, I did everything that you could probably want to do in Dubai in the first maybe 2 years. And also my locations were literally from the prime locations going into the most kind of suburban locations. So,
areas,
first 6 months was JBR, shared accommodation. It was so nice to go down to the beach every day and get your coffee. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, it's getting a little bit. I'm forking out quite a lot just for a room, you know. I think back in 2014, it was the prices were some of the highest at that point, rental prices. So it was like 5.5K just for a room, not even your own bathroom.
5.5.
Yeah, 5.5K.
Right now.
Exactly. So that was when it was really at its peak. And then I decided, okay, I'll go a little bit further out. So I ended up in Marina.
But I think these situations were more of people who don't have the visas and cannot, or like don't have a stable job where they can pay for rent and they're not credible enough.
Exactly. And just kind of getting your foot in the door in Dubai, kind of. And you kind of want to be in the touristy areas at that times. Then it was Marina. Then it was Al Barsha. Then it was City of Arabia, which is like Marjan, near the less fancy bit of where the farm is, yeah. And then lastly and currently in Town Square. So really like gone further and further out as the years have gone by. But it's nice because you have a little bit of peace. I feel like it's my peaceful village. You know, I go back to my peaceful village in the evening, and then I come
And
into
your crazy day, and then you just how do they say it? Cocoon.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I love it. I love Times Square. It's such a like community vibe there. You know.
So you've, let's say, for 2 years, you've, let's say, lived the fancy life in Dubai.
Yeah, for 2 years, I was maybe going out for dinners and brunches. Everything was new, exciting, trying the jet skis and everything like that. And coming from a background of being a very outdoorsy person in Scotland, this was all new and exciting and big dopamine rush, you know, like to see all these exciting things in Dubai. But then I think slowly but surely your kind of true self kind of starts to manifest again. So I started feeling the desire to have a bit more quietness, or feeling the desire to be out of the city more, you know, and that takes time.
Or was it just you getting old?
Partially, probably that's part and part.
Because I'm getting there as well. Sit at home person.
Sit at home or get out the city.
Like,
Or...
I think twice before heading out to
Absolutely.
like,
Yeah, you
eat
have the
and drink.
energy when you're young, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then this is where I'm saying, like, did you feel the numbness, and it like kind of reminded you like all of this doesn't matter, like I don't care about the fancy stuff, I don't care about the brunches, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna take a step back and kind of take it back and just live simpler than the rest of Dubai's population?
Yeah, I guess a big part of that probably, I mean, you know, Dubai, it's such a stimulating city. It's so much stimulus all the time. When I speak to friends back at home, I'll say to them, literally, time goes 5 times faster in Dubai than it
I
does
think
in
we
other
also
countries.
develop a time blindness.
Yeah. Like I know, like here, an example I would use is back in Scotland, if we booked a holiday to Greece and it was like 10 weeks away, you'd literally be counting down the weeks, 9 weeks to go, 8 weeks
Yeah.
to go, 7 weeks to go. Here, you're like, oh, I mean, I've got a holiday in 2 days and
When
I'm
did
not
we-
packed
When
yet.
did we plan the trip for Zanzibar?
I mean, about a month, like 2 months, 3 months ago.
Here we are.
Here we are. We're like, I haven't filled my suitcase yet, you know, like so, and you leave it to the last minute because there's so many other things to deal with, or social engagements, or
I'm running on a notebook now. Like, I have a to-do list every day, because otherwise I'll miss.
just forget things, or you leave it to the side. And that's another thing that I always say to my friends as well. Like in, say, the UK, you might have 2, 3, maximum 4 situations in the day. And when I mean situations, I'm like, okay, you go to the gym, then you go to work, then you maybe get a few groceries, and then you're home and the door's locked by like 6:30 p.m. In Dubai, you might have 8 or 9 situations in the day. You catch up with a friend for coffee before you go to the gym, then you go to the gym, then you go to work, then you have a quick meeting with someone in the IFC, and then you decide to go for a movie with your partner in the evening, you know. And that's why I feel time just goes, you know, because literally you're trying to push things into a day, and you have to often like put it into the next day or the next week because you don't have enough time.
That's been happening to me a lot recently. Like, I schedule so many things throughout the day, and I'm just like, it's either how did I fit them,
Yeah.
or like, crap, I missed a couple of things where they were more important than the other things that I did, for example.
And did you notice, I don't know if you noticed this as well, but I find a lot of the stuff I was doing before COVID, now since like 3 years down the line, I'm like, how did I have the energy to do all that stuff? You know? Like before COVID, we used to do so much things, you know? And then since COVID, it's like, I've done 3 things and I'm like, okay, I'm going home and I'm going to lock the door.
Yeah. I think we got that 1 year that we had of doing nothing did leave an effect on us.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. Yeah.
So linking it back to our trip to Zanzibar, like when I went last year, we went without you guys, so that you guys have a group and you guys go every year. We had our own little group, and like we rented scooters, we were around the island. Their entire life's just Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
Like, and I love it. I mean, I have nothing against it, but it needs some getting used to.
It does, yeah, it does.
I've lived in Canada. I've mentioned this before, and I mentioned it earlier as well. Like you don't have one piece of produce or milk or any kind of product that you need to buy from the grocery. It's you need to go for a walk.
Yeah,
Worst case scenario, you take the bus. Here, you just pick up your phone.
yeah, get on the app.
And this is what I mean by cultural and social numbness. Like it becomes a normal thing where if you get out of here, you're like, oh, this is abnormal.
Yeah,
But it's the entire world.
yeah, we're
Like,
the abnormal ones.
yeah, like Europe, Canada, like everywhere, you go get the thing that you need.
Absolutely.
We don't have any of these things that like when I even first moved to Canada, I went into depression. Aside from not having friends and everything and just living my life back here. But I was like, God damn, I was spoiled as hell. I'm like, and I liked it. I loved every part of it. I loved living there. I loved, eventually, I mean, school was like 6 traffic lights away from my house. And like, let's say in the morning, it'd be freezing cold. My parents would drop me. And then on the way back, I just walk back, pick up my sister after 3 traffic lights. And then the next sister from kindergarten. And then we just walk back. And that was like the most beautiful thing. Like during the summer, I was outdoor all the time. Here, this doesn't exist, especially with the new generation. They don't even know what outdoors is like.
Exactly.
I mean, I get it. By the time school is done, the outdoors doesn't help.
Yeah.
But it's just a different life.
Oh, it's
yeah.
It's 100% different, and I almost compare Dubai summer to like Canada or Scotland winter. You feel a little bit trapped inside because you can't do anything after 9 a.m. and you cannot do anything, and you can only do something maybe after like 5-6 p.m. And even in August, you still like it's so humid. You don't even want to do anything in the morning or the evening.
Yeah.
You know. So it's such a
Rivel the second.
yeah, I swear. Yeah, you feel like you're breathing in water. You know, it's horrible. But another thing that's very interesting to me, and maybe you found this as well in Canada, was we severely drop our activity levels compared to Scotland, Canada. I think I've had a lazy day in Scotland, and I'll look at my smartwatch and I've got like 15,000 steps.
Yeah.
I think I've had a busy day here, and I'll look in the evening, it's 3,500 steps.
And a lot of people who've been used to living here and they move to Canada, they gain weight.
Mm.
I don't know how. I lose weight.
Yeah.
Because you get on the bus, you reach your destination, but your destination is not at the bus stop.
No.
You still need to go for a good walk.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's nice. Like this is how just life is there, and there's a routine. I think the issue here is there's no infrastructure for that. We have the transport, we have the public transport, but it's more. I think the country is way overpopulated that the public transport cannot accommodate to some level.
Yeah.
And it was recently developed to the point that most of us just got used to driving a car around.
Yeah, and I think the city's built for cars because
and the other thing you mentioned is our time passes like this. If you don't have the routine where like you get in the car, you know your car will get you there in half an hour. Transportation will get you there in an hour.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people cannot
you don't want to waste
digest
time.
that.
Yeah, or you feel like you don't want to waste time. It's not a waste of time, but
If you just get your routine right, then you'll get it right. But again, the other thing is the money spending, the showing off, like I said, it's a subconscious thing.
Absolutely.
Like this is why I recently like just stopped going out. I stopped. Most of my purchases now is just gear, literally. Like as you
Like
can
the new light you have here. Yeah. Which brand is it?
Like I'm like, okay, I'll make money. I'm not gonna go spend on a brand. I don't care anymore.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
I've reached that point of realization.
I don't need a logo here, you know. It's a t-shirt.
Yeah,
T-shirt's
yeah.
a t-shirt, you know.
It's keeping you warm or keeping you covered, whatever it is. But it's just that thing. Like I see, for example, so many people, let's say the rich expats coming here because, but I don't even know how they feel. Do you get what I mean? Because for example, in their country, they were like, wow, everybody
Big
looks at
fish
them.
in a small pond.
Yeah, and now they're coming here, like, okay, they're living the same way. Maybe they're saving more money because like less taxes or whatever. but I don't think they feel as happy as they used to be while spending their money there. So that's a thing. Like sometimes I'd be driving and I'm just like, like you pass by these big showrooms, fancy cars, and all these kind of things, and it's like so many of them, and cars just strolling by you, like the fanciest cars, and you're just like, this has become very normal for me.
Absolutely. And
You may
even
not be driving one,
no,
but it's there on the
it's
street.
very normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even when you hear a car with the big exhaust going past, like
Like your brain is just like, it's just another car.
yeah, or if anything, I don't look in admiration. I'm just like, what a knob.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Why do you have to do that? So, but no, I know what you mean. And one thing that I found quite challenging in Dubai initially, at least, was meeting other people or finding other people who were maybe looking for a bit more of a minimalistic life, or they like to get out into nature and hike mountains or go across to Fujairah and do.
It is blowing up more now. I think
blowing up a
people,
lot more.
I think people are coming to the realization their life is becoming meaningless.
It's a bit, maybe it's a bit shallow or whatever, and they feel there's something missing, and they're not getting it from the weekly brunches. They're not getting it from the
Waking up with a hangover.
the
next
hangover.
day is not
And that it's a great thing that is as you said, a trend that's becoming uprising, because it will make people happier.
And the other thing is the government is reacting to that as well.
Yeah, Dubai Fitness Challenge,
Hiking tracks.
Yeah.
Fujairah, for example, a lot of activities in Fujairah now. Sharjah is having a lot of activities.
They've done it great, honestly.
Yeah. So you have things that are going around. But I think people are coming to the realization. I think whenever you go out and you see someone partying, it's more of the fresh blood.
Yeah.
Rather than the people who've
When
been
you're
here
an
for
old
a decade.
timer like us.
Yeah, like someone who's been here like I remember when Business Bay was just flat ground. Like I was looking at pictures today and I'm like, I've seen this. I was here when Business Bay was a flat ground.
Yeah.
I've been here when Burj Khalifa wasn't there. I've been here when the metro wasn't there. Like you see a lot of things and everyone's like, wow, look at this and look at that. I'm like, you haven't seen it without this.
Yeah.
Like these guys, like this country's been through a lot of progress.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it has built expectations to whoever lived here for too long that they will not find anywhere else.
Well, I have friends or people that I've met that would say things like, back before the Palm was built or back before JBR was built, you could literally go snorkeling or free diving off the coast and do some spearfishing, catch some fish, barbecue it at night. And that was that kind of simplistic outdoorsy lifestyle. Before Kite Beach, yeah. But I think then, as you say, Dubai built infrastructure really fast. Forgot a little bit about the other side of it, the more kind of holistic side, the natural side. But as you say, they're dealing with that now. They're starting to put in the infrastructure for the nature trails and all that kind of thing. So for that, we have to commend the government for that, because they're doing a lot towards it,
And we're like, after the 10 years of living here, how did you see, like, how was the transition, let's say? Because you said 2 years you were having the brunches, living the life, and then
there's a transition stage, and I guess you are also in a unique perspective because you've also emigrated.
Yeah.
Some people have never emigrated before, so they've always kind of lived life slightly more comfortably. Mm-hmm. And I actually have a friend who's just moved to Dubai, I think last September. And I tried to help him quite a lot, like if I have any leads, he's a personal trainer as well. If I have any leads, I'll pass them on to him. Or I'll give him a little pep talk if he's done.
By the way, that's something you don't see in the UK.
What's that?
Help.
Ah, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, nobody will get out of their way to help you.
No, it's. I think that's a Western thing, to be honest. I think in the Middle East, like, it's more personable to help each other, So yeah, he's just
getting used to the multicultural.
Tolerance for all cultures. So I was kind of not taking him under my wing, but I'm just trying to help him, because literally he sometimes says like, why are you giving me all these leads? I'm like, because I know how it feels. I know that first year, 18 months, 2 years can be very uncomfortable. There was times in my first year and a half, especially.
It will hammer you down.
Yeah. When I quit after 6 weeks, I literally was thinking in my head, like, I'll just have to get a flight back to Scotland. Yeah. And funnily enough, a girl that I knew back in Scotland, I knew she'd moved to Dubai, but I'd never talked to her or met her when I had moved. I randomly bumped into her at JBR Beach. I was telling her the situation, and she literally saved my Dubai life because she said, listen, Rob, you've been thrown it to the bottom of this bag of shit, basically. You know, like life in Dubai can be quite enjoyable. It can be quite comfortable. It'll take time. You just went with the wrong company. Many people first come to Dubai and end up in the wrong company. And if you just stick in there and work hard, then opportunities will present themselves to you.
Yeah.
And I took her word for it, and I swear, like she probably doesn't even know this, but like, thanks, Rachel. You know, like she literally saved my Dubai.
As well, here, the more that you network, the more like. This is an advice for whoever is
planning on moving,
fresh blood, planning to move to Dubai. Network
for sure.
Network a lot. Don't be scared. It might be intimidating to move from your comfort zone to Dubai. It is intimidating in Dubai. It is seeing all the, let's say, successful people, all the big guys come here, and you're like, where do I fit in the picture?
Absolutely.
You'll make something out of it.
Absolutely, and there's plenty of pie. You can have your slice of pie, and
might not be big at the beginning, but
it grows. Yeah, as your network grows, it grows. And I think if you can maintain your authentic self, that helps as well. Mm-hmm. Like, I find this such an attractive trait in a person. I don't mean like, oh, I fancy them, you know, but an attractive trait in a male or a female when they are so content with themselves that they don't feel the need to try and be alpha or try and show off. You know, when I always know exactly when I'm talking to Mustafa or whether I'm talking to the way that Mustafa's trying to present himself to the world. And if I feel like I'm speaking directly to Mustafa, it's such a nice feeling, and I feel so like I can warm to the person very quickly. But when I feel that they're putting on a persona, like I'll quickly retreat, you know? It's very attractive quality to have in a person.
A lot of people notice that about me. Like, you gave it as an example, but a lot of people immediately get relaxed and open up to me.
Tell you all their problems.
But yeah, I get your point. I think this pretty much concludes today's episode. Just a piece of advice to whoever is trying to change their life around or trying to move out from where they are. If anyone's watching us from abroad, you're more than welcome to move to Dubai.
We welcome you.
You don't have to have, a well planned out plan. I'm not telling you come completely blind-eyed. Like, have a plan, have some kind of structure. It might not work out in the first couple of weeks, months, maybe up to a year, but it works out eventually.
Yeah, I think
it's a different culture here.
It's a different culture. You have to get used to it. Even for me, I remember back in the day, it would be like someone came late for sessions. It used to bother me so much. Now I'm like, God, 10, 15 minutes. Khali wali. You know, like.
And the topic does sound a little bit negative, the cultural and social numbness, but it's just, I want to mention it to the people here in Dubai to kind of have them realize it on an earlier note rather than when it's too late down the line.
Absolutely.
Where you wasted your time, spent the money, wrong places, and just went like, oh, I could have done otherwise.
I heard a really interesting statistic that I think it was like 40% of expats leave Dubai in a worse financial state than they come. So do not go down that route.
Yeah.
Do not go down that route.
that's the thing. This is just an episode to make you realize you don't need to have a fancy car to move around. You don't need to have a fancy life. Just realize that you're living comfortably. There's no stress of extra things that you don't need. And I do tend to go down the rabbit hole myself where I'm like, oh, I'm not making enough. I want to buy this thing. I want to buy that thing. And then I'm like,
Do you need it?
I'm comfortable. I have a roof on top of my head. I have food on the table. I'm living okay. Maybe more than okay.
Yeah.
And that's when they say your worst enemy is yourself. Where you put yourself down. You think you're not doing well enough, but you're actually exceeding your limits without realizing it.
Absolutely.
So this is it for today's episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next episode.